Good morning, good day, good evening. I'm, as always, your host, Brodie Robertson, and today we are back for episode 780. Already screwed it up. We're not restarting it. We're back for episode 78 of Tech with T. Host something. Welcome, Nephite. You're back on the show. I screwed all that up. We're just gonna run with it.
That's okay. I screw stuff up all the time.
Oh shit! I also just realized I didn't actually set up my my browser. So while I'm doing that, tell people who you are, and I'll fix that.
Well, I do stuff on the internet for those that weren't around for the last one. So I've got a YouTube channel, I stream on Twitch and a bunch of other places. But, I mean, I've got my own plural instance and a couple other things that I'm working on too. So, all over the internet, I kind of spread my stuff probably a little too thin.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. When did we last do an episode? It had to have been a long time ago.
Was like in February, I believe it was. January.
Was it really this year?
Yeah.
Wow,
Went back and double checked.
I have lost track of time completely. Let's see. Episode 47. So yeah, it would have been... Wow, okay, it would have been this year. Oh yeah, no, because Wow, that is a horrible... I'm looking at the thumbnail, and that is a horrible thumbnail. Why did I make that? That was during the whole parlor situation as well. Back when they were kicked off of AWS.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, back.
Oh, you had to think of other parlor situations.
I don't know why they're in deep water.
But I was talking beforehand about a topic that I think you would like, and I think we should just start there. So,
okay.
Ignore the fact that I'm going to send you a link to a Reddit account. The content on the Reddit account is what's important. Here we go. So,
okay.
Oh, my thing broke. Property. There we go. Now we're good. So this guy has made Pokemon card keycaps for a mechanical keyboard. And like he's made like little versions of like base gen cards or first gen cards.
Wow.
It's
pretty cool.
They look really, really cool. If you scroll down a bit, he's got a he should have a bit where he okay, no, he uses his account for other stuff as well. On the Pokemon card keycap subreddit, he's got a picture of the cards like just by themselves, and man, they look really cool. Man,
that nice foil sparkle to him too.
Also, a fun thing is this guy's actually from Australia, which I did not expect when I saw this, but he's a dude from Queensland. So if you want to get some, they are $30 per keycap. They're expensive keycaps, but they are handmade.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
The only question is would it? Well, it actually might fit down the sides of the Ergo docks. So,
do you run an Ergo docks?
The Easy. I picked it up last year in March, and I think I finally got it in April. So,
I hope you don't mean April this year. You got it.
Oh, last year.
Okay,
it took like a month or so to ship.
You just had to make sure. That's not even that long. Okay. Here, I need to talk about something. So Americans always talk about like, oh, overnight Amazon shipping, and anything longer than like a week is a long time. A week is fast here. If you get stuff in a week, like that's impressive.
Yeah, well, most of the stuff, like for me, does take about a week that I order. Like what? So, yeah, so like headphones and stuff like that. I'll order stuff off of Amazon literally, and it'll take a week plus. I ordered stickers off of Amazon, and that took over a month because it was shipping from Greece.
Right, that makes sense.
Then I've still got a USB to C to USB-C cable that I'm waiting on. That is from Amazon as well. And then everybody that's ever ordered a Pine phone or something from Pine 64 knows it takes forever.
You did hear about how all of the, was it Pine phones that got sent to New Zealand? I did talk about that the other week.
That kind of sucks. It's like Pine 64's apologizing profusely, but it's like, it's not your fault. If you wrote the shipping address correctly on it, then it's all on DHL, and that's on them.
Yeah, I don't know how DHL
once you get
managed
your
that
stuff
one.
Back, I mean, it's possible it got missorted, because sometimes you missort things when you're a shipping company.
Right, but you missort, like, here's the grease package, here's this other package. Oh, let's just send them to New Zealand. Maybe someone just doesn't like Pine.
It's in the opposite direction, too, because you've got New Zealand down to the southeast, and then Europe over to the west.
I don't know how they manage. Honestly, like, DHL's been pretty good, like, for any of the shipping I've done. I usually go with DHL. Even, like, even with this mistake, honestly, they're still probably one of the best shipping companies.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Yeah, they do use DHL. Because I got a Pine Time, too.
Do you just buy everything that... Actually, that works out, because I do have a Pine topic on this list.
No, I don't buy everything Pine does, but yeah, it's shipped through DHL. The problem is their tracking doesn't always update.
Right, okay. Like, package tracking, even, like, with domestic packages, it's relatively okay here, but I've certainly noticed a lot of issues with other stuff. Like, the main government, shipping thing is Ozpost here, and I don't know how they take so long to get stuff to me. Like, they will take a week to get me stuff from, like, Melbourne. And this isn't, like, while Rona's going on. It's just, like, normally. Like, how does it take a week to get from Melbourne?
Well, my favorite thing is when, like, somewhere along the way, they forget to, like, keep the tracking going. And then all of a sudden, your, like, thing is in the mail. And then it's like, I don't remember seeing the updates in between where it said it was out for delivery. Yeah,
I have had that as well. Where actually, this might have been DHL in this case. I know it was something I bought from Amazon. I don't remember the exact shipping company, but I got it. Then the next day, I got a message being like, "Hey, your package will arrive today." It's like, will it now? Are you sure about that? It's like, that's fine, but I think you're full of shit.
I like it when everything, like, arrives early. It's like, well, we estimate it'll be, like, 14th, and then it all arrives on the 13th, the day before.
I like the estimation.
I've had some things that said, like, oh, it's ready for pickup, so I go to the post office. Like, I ordered a futon topper from Japan, and it's like, oh, ready for pickup. So I go to pick it up, and it's like they were, like, literally loading it up to like deliver it that day. They're like, what is it?
Yeah, I've had the exact same thing. Like, I don't know how it works for you guys, but when something, like, when you, like, miss the package, they'll leave, like, a little slip in your door here. Like, hey, show up at the post office after this time and you can collect the package. So I went there to get something, and they're like, just come back tomorrow. Like, why just say that on the slip. Like, I don't care if it's, you know, if it makes me wait longer for something, that's fine. But don't make me come back a second time. Like, don't be annoying like that.
Yeah. Usually, by the time we get our mail, it's about the time that the post office is closed.
Right.
So either A, they put it in the post office box that we have that's a little bit closer.
Right.
Or B, we have to wait until the next day to go to it so that we can get it earlier before they close. Luckily, tracking tells us that if they do that.
Well, hopefully, as long as the tracking gets updated. Now, I noticed those earphones you have. I'm not using... Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I've also got the older ones too. So, like, the Pro X's are ones that I just got a week or so ago. Oh, actually, on the 13th, came in the mail. And then I've had the ZSN Pros for a while.
Mm.
The only thing that bothers me is the fact that I think the impedance is so low that you can hear like the background noise because you get that fuzz in the background.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's the one thing I don't like about them.
I mean, the SR850s aren't like that in any way, but then again, they're more balanced too.
Yeah.
So I can hear like all the high things and like all the Sabaton songs along with the low things.
The only reason I'm not using these right now is I find... So right now I've got a pair of, I don't know, Sennheiser CX 2.0s or something? I don't know. You can't buy them anymore. Sennheiser doesn't make these anymore. That's how long I've had these for. But the cable is slightly longer on these, and I find that when I wear these ones, it's just a tad too short for like how far my computer is away. So if I lean this way, it might slightly pull, especially if it gets caught in like the arm of my computer chair.
I find that's a problem too. When I want to kick back when I'm streaming, it's like I have like this little leash that I can't get rid of, so I've got to use something that's longer.
Yeah, I can get a cable to extend it, obviously, but I just haven't gone and done so yet. I probably should, because when I put these on, I really like them. Like I've talked about them before, but they are honestly really good earphones.
Yeah, I just feel bad I didn't get the microphone one. I ordered the KB ears as well, and I forgot the mic on it. I'm like, that was the really nice mic too.
I intentionally ordered it without the mic for like obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I sure it might be useful on like my phone, but I've sort of come to accept Bluetooth headphones on my phone. I don't like it, but I've come to accept it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I use my phone for recording things, and so having a really nice mic is nice to have.
Well, nice compared to other like earbud microphone.
I'm not hauling this outside to walk around and talk.
Yeah, well, sure. It's gonna be better than what you get on like some like crappy earbuds that just came in the box with your $10, $20 random phone you bought off from China.
And I mean, I probably sound about like I'm an Xbox Live with my wireless earbuds anyway.
I do miss, like, I miss the days of, like, the PS3 and 360. I sadly didn't have an Xbox 360. I played on PS3. But, man, everyone just having just shitty microphones. What a fun time that was.
Everybody was on the same even field, and they all enjoyed it, and they made fun of each other for it, too.
Like, sure, there might be that one rich kid that had a pair of, like, Astro A50s, but apart from him, everyone else sounded like shit. Oh, what a fun time that was. Actually, you brought up, Pine before. So, did you hear about the Pine Note?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I'm like, plasma on an e-ink display.
Yeah, it's...
Really?
I didn't look into... I just saw the post. I didn't actually look at, like, the specs of it or anything. So, it's a 10.1-inch e-ink tablet. Okay. So... I like how they edited the post and then just left in the mistake to just crossed it out. So, 10.1-inch e-ink panel. E-ink is actually a really interesting technology. Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you, I find reading on, like, a regular screen really, really difficult. Like, if I, for example, trying to read through, like, a PDF or something, I always find myself getting a lot of eye strain just doing so. I don't know about yourself, but that's how I feel about it.
I've got blue light filter coating on my glasses now, so...
Right, that would definitely help out. A resolution of 1404 by 1872. Sure, okay.
It's e-ink.
It is e-ink, yes it is. Both regular touch and EMR pen input. Okay. Wait, I wonder if anything's soldered inside of this. I can't tell from the pictures here. It looks like a lot of stuff is going to be attached with removable cables, though. That is nice. That, hopefully will make it easier to repair if you can get parts for it. Presumably you'll be able to.
They do sell the parts for the Pine phone that you can pick up pretty easily, except for, like, the main board.
Right.
So.
Why did they sell the main board? What? Okay, sure. I would have thought that'd be one thing you would sell.
They do sell the main board separately. They have all the other parts as well that you can get separately.
Right,
They've got a discount for, like, an upgrade for people with, like, older boards to get a new main board.
Right, okay, that makes sense. Has a quad-core RK3566 A55 SoC. I don't know what the hell that is, so I'm gonna just... you know what? It's probably fine.
It's a thing.
It is a thing that has 4 cores. 4 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM. Sure. 128 gigs of storage. Remember when 128 gigs is just like an unheard amount of flash storage? Now it just comes on just some like random e-ink tablet. I think my first... Oh, what's up?
Considering this is like probably primarily for e-reading and stuff like that, it's a lot of space.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Jeez. Yeah, that's actually a ton then. Sure, you can take as many of your Amazon ebooks that you have definitely not ripped the DRM off of and just put them on this tablet.
So I've got a whole bunch of ebooks. You see my books folder. It's mostly like EPUB, PDFs and stuff. That's like 16 gigs. That includes all of my RPG books that I've like picked up over the last few years from like Warhammer and everything, along with PDFs that I've downloaded from various honest, good places.
Absolutely, yes. We only condone legal acquisition of books on this podcast.
That's 16 gigs, just. So 128 for all that is like plenty of space.
Well, they're saying it's not just like an e-reader, but considering that has an e-ink display, I don't know what anyone would ever really use it for besides an e-reader.
You're not watching YouTube on it.
Well, you could, that's the thing, but I don't know why you would want to.
Was the refresh rate on the screen again?
They say it's not 60 hertz. I don't know what the refresh rate would be.
Because I know most e-ink displays have to, like, in essence, clear the screen and then print it back out. So
I don't know, like, can you even get a 60 hertz e-ink? I don't know. E-ink's one of those things that just show up every so often. I love the fact that your camera's freezing every few seconds, and there's just like hilarious faces stuck there. E-ink display, refresh rate. Let's see. Apparently you can find them at 67 hertz. Why 67? I don't know, but you can get them that high. So e-ink has improved a lot since I was like first looking at it. Okay.
I know Best Buy uses e-ink displays for their price tags in a lot of places too.
Okay, that's fancy.
Yeah. Then Amazon has their Oasis e-reader that's an e-ink display that's like full color as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just don't want to. I don't want to buy like a Amazon e-reader though.
Oh. I mean, if you buy an older Kindle, maybe, but
yeah. $290, so 400 Australian. You know what? Okay, that's not a bad price to be honest. Amazon, stop making cheap stuff, making me want to buy your stuff.
I think there are even cheaper ones that are off and though as well.
Yeah, you can obviously get like way cheaper e-readers, but for like an e-ink color display, I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. So if someone knows of something that's better, let me know. But that honestly does seem like a really good deal. Plus, it came out in 2017, so I imagine you can probably get some secondhand ones fairly easily.
Yeah, maybe. They do sell the ad-supported ones for cheaper, but that's because when you lock it, ads everywhere. That's their secret. You can pay like a little like extra fee to get it so it doesn't have the ads at all on it.
Speaking of Amazon, did you hear about this right here? So you know how you can get like the Kindles with the built-in 2G and 3G?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they're shutting down that on like the older devices. There's two reasons.
I feel like that's a mistake, but
right, but these are like the. I totally get it's a mistake, but it is also the considerably older devices. But with something like an e-reader, they do last a long ass time. So I can imagine people still actually having like a 4th gen Paperwhite.
Well, Kindles were kind of the first ones that like implemented the like download anywhere thing too. I don't know how they made the deals with the carriers so that their customers could download their ebooks from anywhere, but they did.
Well, that's the reason why like they are shutting it down, because they were actually the ones paying for your connection to the network. So I imagine that my guess is the carriers are probably taking a cut of ebook sales or something like that. That seems like the most obvious answer to me.
At this point, Amazon could just pay a royalty fee for just using it.
I'm sure it's more valuable.
Amazon stimulus payment for your network.
I'm sure for Amazon it's more valuable to just pay that and then have people just use their devices.
Yeah.
But
I mean, people are buying food from Amazon now, so...
Yeah, the whole Amazon situation over the past 2 years has been an absolute mess with, like, little stores that have, like, you know, that are selling the exact same stuff as Amazon getting shut down, but then Amazon is just like, well, you know, we're Amazon, so we can sell everything.
Yeah, well... Or you get little stores that end up giving up and going on to Amazon in order to survive.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that with a couple of the bookstores that I shop from. Like, they'll have their own website, but then we'll have an Amazon storefront as well. And I get why you do it, because there's a lot of eyes on Amazon. I just don't want to see Amazon within, like, the next, 5 or 10 years being basically a monopoly on stores. And that seems to be the direction we're going.
But if they weren't that way, we wouldn't have the Dong rocket.
The what?
The Dong rocket.
I don't know what that is.
So, Jeff Bezos's space company, Blue Origin, launched their first rocket mission, where they basically sent the pod into like orbit for a little bit and then dropped it down. Everybody called it the Dong rocket because that's what it looked like.
Okay, sure.
They're like, this is how you know that you're a big dick, because your employees send you up in a rocket shaped like one.
Right. Yeah, the only eccentric billionaire I keep a tab on is Elon. When you have too many billionaires around, you start going a little crazy.
Yeah. Let me see if...
Oh, you're going to find a picture of it?
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of the e-ink readers again, I actually do want to buy one at some point. It's just I read a lot. It's just justifying the initial purchase that's my problem.
Okay. Yeah.
You find the picture?
It can be. I think that's a good side profile of it.
You're looking for the best one you can find, are you?
You've got to keep it always the best.
That's fair. Okay. I just realized every time I swap away to see the Discord window, your camera freezes. I should just move that. Nice. There we go. That's better. You know, this setup today is just a mess. Okay. Oh, jeez, it does look like a giant dick, doesn't it?
And the funniest part is the cap comes off. It's like, guys, really?
Oh, that's a shape. You know what? Maybe the dick is just the most aerodynamic shape you can create. I don't know. I'm sure there's
probably, I could believe it.
Either that
into
or
all kinds of places.
Either that or some engineers were like, "Hey, can we do this? Is this physically possible?" Because I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, Elon sent a Tesla into space, so anything's possible.
Yeah, Elon. I don't want to turn this podcast into an Elon podcast. I bring it up like every other week right now, but this man is crazy. Like, you don't. I've have people be like, "Oh, you focus too much on Elon. You have like crazy imaginations about what he's gonna do." The man literally wants to put a microchip in your brain. Like, that's not even like memeing or anything like that. He's actually openly said he wants to put microchips in your brain so we can communicate across information. Like that.
Actively posted on Twitter about creating genetically engineered cat girls.
Also, you know, he's trolling the entire crypto world while basically funneling as much money out of it as possible. Like, you don't need to imagine very hard to see that Elon is like a supervillain genius.
Multiple companies and everything, but.
And then, you know, the first 3 cars he released spell out sex, so. Like, he will sometimes do these, like, crazy things, and they're just like, haha, sex. It's like, I guess when you have that much money, like, you have to find somewhere to entertain yourself.
Well, I mean, making flamethrowers is one way he does it,
Not a flamethrower. That's very important. It's a blowtorch.
It's not a flamethrower, I swear.
No, it's not a flamethrower.
That's why I can legally mail this.
I don't think you're able to buy them in Australia, though. Because
he's shut down that one as well, that product.
Yeah, it was a limited time thing, but when it actually, when it was a thing, I don't think you were able to buy it in Australia. Because we have some questionable weapon laws anyway, like, you can't carry a knife on you for self-defense and other little things like that. I don't think you can... In my state, I don't think you can carry pepper spray either. Yeah, pepper spray is a lethal weapon. Yeah, just don't question the Australian weapon laws. They are... Yeah.
Weirdos.
Oh, I've got something I wonder if you're going to trust it. I hope you trust it.
Okay.
Do you like...
I've opened all kinds of things, so we'll see.
Okay. Do you like end-to-end encryption?
It's an interesting... I like it for the concept of keeping everything private.
Okay. Do you like Facebook?
No.
Will you trust this end-to-end encryption?
Who's storing the keys for it?
Let's find out. Let's see if it says on the article.
WhatsApp was supposed to have that, and they acquired that, but at the same time,
it does not say. So yeah, Facebook is going to introduce end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. Doesn't say text. I'm pretty sure text is not already end-to-end encrypted, and also testing it out for Instagram DMs. So they're testing out for Instagram text messages, but not for whatever. Okay, sure.
So you can send your nudes encrypted end to end to your receiver.
I guess so, but assuming that the keys are stored properly, which, you know, Facebook doesn't exactly have a good track record of this.
No, see, that's the thing, is like, you'd have to basically be sending the keys directly to the person, which means that the server isn't storing them, which I highly doubt is the case, because it's very likely that you're going to sync across devices. And I know how Matrix does the key sync, is you have to do it manually, but still... I don't think this is going to be the case with Facebook.
let's see if we can find it. There's not much information on it right now. Yeah,
Of course there isn't.
Yeah, I. Hey, maybe look. Maybe Facebook is gonna like turn a new leaf, and they're gonna be like, you know what? We're gonna effectively build Signal.
Yeah,
they're not.
Someone linked a technical white paper PDF, apparently from Facebook. Whether it's real or not is questionable. But
I don't see anyone asking about keys. I don't know why. E2E backdoored yet or no? Are you just saying, wait, just generally are you saying that E2E encryption backdoored yet? That's, you do know there's like different implementations, right? Man, talking
I don't expect these people to be the smartest. They're reading The Verge.
That is true. Oh, okay, I see the white paper you're talking about. It's linked on fb.com.
And it's a WB content subdirectory, which leads me to believe that they're some small blog running on WordPress.
Facebook, well known
Unless
for using
Facebook
WordPress.
runs their blog on WordPress, which
do they? Yeah. Oh, you're saying it? No, if Facebook's doing it, I imagine it's probably, you know, using their web framework, you know, React.
Yeah. I doubt WordPress is what they're using, even though it's pretty standard among most people.
Also, fb.com doesn't lead me to believe, like, you know, actual Facebook URL. That would be like a, you know, you know what a fake URL looks like. Like, you know, you'll see like hey, it's Google, but it's got like 3 O's or something. It's like, you know,
yeah,
maybe. I know that PayPal does own PayPay.com. So a lot of the big tech companies, they'll buy like different iterations or different variations of like their name just to make sure that scammers can't go and buy it.
Yeah.
Just like, I know PayPal has PayPay and like a couple of little variations like that. I think they also have like PayPal on basically every TLD as well. Just, you know, to ensure that no one else can buy it.
Oh, I should probably like do the triple tax.
What are you? I don't know what you're doing.
It's the who is information on it.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting. Oh.
Well, maybe there's something to this.
Maybe it is legit.
I haven't read the white paper, so I don't know if that'll help. Actually, I should. So the name fb.com, name servers a.ns.facebook.com. I presume that would be the name servers they use. Surely.
And it's only registered under Registrar Safe LLC.
Let's open up this white paper, see if it has anything. Messenger okay, this is already looking sketchy. Messenger secret conversations. I'm sure that's how you would lay out a white paper.
Got cool formulas and maths in it, though.
Yeah, it does. That's true. It has like cool. Oh wow, that's. You know, maybe this could either be complete bullshit, or this could be, just some very, very lazy engineers writing a very lazy technical paper.
Either way, anybody looking at this should take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I don't particularly trust. Wait. A participant in a secret conversation may voluntarily notify Facebook of abusive content. Facebook uses such reports to identify users who violate Facebook's terms of service. The ability to report abuse does not represent a relaxation of the end-to-end encryption guarantees of secret conversation. Facebook will never have access to plain text messages unless one participant in a secret conversation voluntarily reports the conversation.
So what it is you report the conversation, the whole conversation becomes encrypted to Facebook's secret conversation police.
So, secret conversations include a mechanism to perform franking of messages sent through Facebook. Okay, no, I've read that right. Franking. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
This mechanism is analogous to placing a cryptographic stamp on the message without learning the message content. Aha. You know, this is going over my head.
Well, they define franking right here as the mechanism must satisfy 3 main guarantees: authenticity, confidentiality, and third-party deniability.
You know, until it's a thing that people can test out, I'm gonna say, don't trust Facebook. I know it's a pretty hot take.
Yeah. Until we can sniff those packets.
Exactly. Till we can see that your keys are being sent directly from the Facebook server. Man, you remember when Zoom was doing that and they were telling everyone that they were end-to-end encrypted?
Well, the Verge article mentioned that Zoom does end-to-end encryption too, but it's like, how does it do that when people in China can still sneak into the calls?
Shh, don't think about it.
Think nothing, I am not here.
Look, it's end-to-end encrypted if we say it's end-to-end encrypted. It's encrypted with the server. That's all that matters.
See, the server's the other end, your computer, and then the server. That's the end to end.
Yeah, we decrypt it at the server and then re-encrypt it. It's encrypted end-to-end. It's transitively encrypted.
No, anybody doing a man in the middle can't read it, but we can still read it.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. Nobody else can read it. You gotta have the Google mentality of handling any data. It's fine as long as we do it.
Yes. More companies are becoming that way. Apple is locking everybody else out. Facebook is locking everybody else out. Google's locking everybody else out. It's interesting to watch big tech fight each other over data.
Well, that's because they all know, like... I was gonna say, that's because they all know, like, how valuable it actually is.
They used to share it together, it seemed, and now they've like, no, done. We're cutting you off. We're cutting you off. We're done.
You know, I'm sure there's with enough money in a backdoor deal, you could probably convince them to still let go of the data.
Little bit.
Like maybe you could make the argument that has something to do with the I guess legal focus on them right now, but they realize like how powerless the US government is in actually prosecuting them, because they know like the second like what, oh, we're gonna actually I don't know, take any action against you. Well, we're gonna pull out of the US. How do you like the sound of that one? It's like, yeah, okay, we'll just go all in on China then. They don't care. They know, like, there's nothing that can actually be done by, like, the US government.
It's interesting, and I mean, they work with China anyway on all their small stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to some extent, Valve does too, but they don't implement the policies across the board, it seems, because they've got a completely separate China client for Steam.
Yeah, if you go into your Steam folder, you'll see there's, like, Steam and then the Steam China folder.
It's probably a flag that activates that has, like, Chinese parental controls.
Like, I get why a lot of companies are, like, trying to go for that market. It is a very big developing market, but as long as the approach that is required to get you to operate in China doesn't spread out of that, at the end of the day, it could certainly be worse.
And to some extent, it's like it just makes it worse just adapting your technology for it. Because it becomes the temptation to, like, spread it elsewhere, because how can we use it to capitalize on everybody else now?
Exactly, yeah. But, yeah, well, I was going to say, hey, but then there are alternatives. In a lot of cases, there just aren't, though. That's the problem. It's like, oh, what do you get? Sure, there's, like, alternatives to things like Google, but most people don't even know they exist. Most people don't use them. Oh, speaking of that, have you tried out like Brave Search yet?
I've played around with it a couple times. I just haven't really worried about it because I've set up my own Cirx instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it would be interesting to see if Brave Search is implemented as a search engine, which I could imagine it would be.
Well, they will have describing themselves as an open search engine, by which they mean they will have a API to make search requests. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a thing that happens at some point. It's just that Brave Search right now is still in beta, so I imagine that will come later down the line.
They've still got to build their index up.
Well,
they had all these years to do it.
They have the index, you just can't use it by itself.
Yeah.
Assuming that I trust the Brave numbers they put out, where it's like, oh yes, 87% of searches are done with Brave Search Index. Like, yeah, but like, you're not showing me an actual, statistics or anything like that. You're just giving me this number, like 87. Like, right, but like, can you tell me exactly what? 87. Nah, okay.
Wibby's a better search engine anyway.
What?
B.
I don't... That...
Got me.
I don't know about that one. Let's see, what we got here? Wibby.me. Okay. Let's see. Oh. Why is there a giant... Oh, I thought it was a penis. It's a light tower.
It's an ASCII lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's for websites that only use like HTML and CSS or the bare minimum, basically.
That's
very minimal websites. So, like for someone that wants to go and look at websites that resemble web pages from the 90s or early 2000s, they can.
So people in my audience.
Yes.
I didn't know about this one for obvious reasons. I like, modern websites to some extent.
Accept submissions, and you can submit your own website to it. And if it falls in the proper criteria, they add it to it.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Mine's been added to it.
That actually is really cool. Let's, I'm going to search for something. Oh, wow, there's actually some pretty cool stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
You want some anime wallpapers? Sure, you can get anime wallpapers here. Sure. That's cool. I didn't know about that. Maybe I need to do a video on that or something. Just let people know it exists.
Even got like that I'm feeling lucky type button too.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting a random site.
Yeah, I never knew what that did when I was a kid. Just like it's obvious now, but like when I saw it as a kid, it's like, what, you can do a search? I'm feeling lucky. I for some reason my monkey brain just couldn't like put two and two together. It's like, why did you send me to a random page? A random page.
What is this? I thought I was going to get a cool search, but you send me this instead.
But there were like, I don't know if Google still has them, but back in like the early 2000s, there were a lot of like Easter eggs with I'm feeling lucky. I don't know if they're still there or not.
Maybe. Not even sure if they still have the do a barrel roll Easter egg or the Zerg Rush Easter egg.
Oh, yeah, those were a thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Man, Google, as much as I don't like them now, they certainly were an entertaining company before they tried to take over the world.
I know, I can't remember who it was talking about it, but they got Google banned because they were playing the Pac-Man doodle in school.
Oh, that sounds like something a school would do. I've got so many fun stories of my school IT team just being utterly incompetent.
See, my school's IT team wasn't really so much incompetent. They were just kind of lazy, and so they'd hang out in the tech classes most of the time, which computer repair and networking were on a completely separate network because the school district was afraid of us hacking the whole school network.
Uh-huh.
They had a little, separate network for just the computer classes.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
What?
God, I can only imagine that going. Actually, no, to be fair, there might be some value in that because, so my school's security was so utterly bad. There were a couple of script kiddies that took control over some of like the computer monitoring software. So every single laptop in my school had this, I don't remember what it was called, but it was basically a program that let you monitor what the screens were doing and even like take over the screen and like force show something to it.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a couple of script keys that somehow got access to an admin account. The password was, I know it wasn't admin. It was probably admin1 or something. And they would do things like show porn to people, just play like random music. And no one knew for the longest time who it was. Because it would always show up as like, obviously they were smart enough to, either they were smart enough to hide their IP address so that people didn't know exactly which device it was, or the IT team was dumb enough to not realize you can check IP addresses of devices on your network.
Yeah.
And because it looked like it was coming from the admin account, well, who else could it be but the admin?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of that software, they didn't really show the name of the computer in the stuff for the one that took control.
Mm-hmm.
I know you could see from the dashboard everybody's screen from it.
Yeah.
What they were doing and the name of the computer, but other than that, I don't think from the admin it showed that.
What do you mean?
As in, like, when it would broadcast to the other screens, I've seen it because I know the teachers would use it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't show the name of the computer that was broadcasting their screen with everybody else.
Oh, no, I mean, but like
network.
I'm sure in like the audit log for the software, it would show like who was, like what devices were using it. If they were smart enough to like check that, which they weren't.
To expect school IT to do that? They're paid by the state. Come on.
Yeah, no, I don't expect that because I remember back when I first started that school, I had the admin password. Because they actually did set it to admin. And the first day we were there, we got access to it.
What's funny is when you partition a network off of students because you're afraid of them hacking into the rest of the network, and you still let them plug their own like flash or whatever memory into it. Like I had an external hard drive that I would play games from during lunch and all.
Yeah.
I always plugged it into the computers to access my programs and stuff because I also had portable Firefox on me all the time. So I had my history, my bookmarks, and everything wherever I went to, whatever computer.
Actually, at my school, that was really dangerous to do. So while my IT staff were incompetent, they were incompetent in a awful way. So I don't know why they did this, but I think they had it set up as like a regex search of files, and if it came across a certain file name, it would just delete it.
What?
So we would play things like Assault Cube, Urban Terror, Halo, like the first Halo game, because that was the only one that worked on a Mac. We had COD 4 and a bunch of other stuff, and when they realized we were playing this stuff, they just basically were like, hey, if it has the same name as the executable, or whatever they called on Mac, just delete it. So you could just change the name of it and it wouldn't delete it.
Yeah. Well, some kids had actually put a no CD cracked StarCraft install on one of the school network drives. So they basically play StarCraft from that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We did actually, I think by the end, maybe by the time I was in year 12, we did finally have like a network drive set up, and the security obviously wasn't good. You could, for the first couple of days, you could access anyone else's drive. Like,
nice.
It's like you were supposed to have a specific folder that was your allocated partition. No, just do whatever.
Yeah. What was goofy is Windows XP had this thing where you could drop a desktop.ini file into any folder, and in the Explorer window, it would change the program if you set it to an image file. So I'd have done that with my student network drive I go in and there's a background
Mm-hmm.
behind all the icons in this window.
So my school had the laptops we had, like, it wasn't bring your own device. They had like dedicated laptops for the school. And because it was like that, do you know like how bad people treat their devices when they don't own it? Because man,
Got a pretty good idea.
so they would they would just put their laptops in the bag and just like throw the bag around as if they were throwing around like a basketball or something.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many devices got broken, but it got to the point where they were just like, you know what, we're just not going to replace some of them. You can just use pen and paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it had gotten to the point with that school where, like, they said that laptops were like a privilege to use, like not something that you had to use, but they'd gotten to the point where they had embedded the use of laptops so far into the curriculum that if you didn't have the laptop with you, you just couldn't work in a lot of cases.
So they put themselves in a situation where they said, we're not replacing it, but at the same time, we kind of have to replace it if we want them to do their schoolwork.
And I feel like it's getting way worse with that. Like, I have a nephew that is 7 years old, and he has to use a tablet for school.
You can use a good book. Come on. Come on.
No, who needs to learn how to write on paper?
Really?
My handwriting is really bad, but I expect, like, being able to handwrite probably won't even be that much of a thing maybe in, like, 30 years. Like, because a lot of, like, the only reason really to handwrite at this point is to fill out forms. And a lot of forms are going digital only.
Well, what is it? Oh, I think it was Oregon had basically dropped the graduation requirements basically for reading and math and all. It's like, so you're going to let students graduate without knowing how to read, write, or anything.
Maybe Luke's onto something. We are regressing.
Well, that's the thing where it's like, how do you think that's smart? Well, they can get opportunities. It's like, no, they can't. They can't do anything. How do you expect them to be able to fill out an application if they don't know how to read or write?
I can't even...
This is why the high school diploma is more worthless now. People like you.
Even... To be honest, like, just having a high school diploma isn't even that valuable at this point anyway. Because everyone sort of got into this mindset where you have to go and get, like, higher education. If you don't get higher education, there's just, like, no opportunities for you to actually have.
I can tell you that is such bull. And I mean, I think I've only vaguely touched on it in one of my in a previous video. But I mean, like, piece of paper really means nothing. It is valuable in some cases, but it's the knowledge behind it that's valuable. And if you don't really have that knowledge, then the paper's worthless.
Well, the funny thing is, even like with something you would think, you would think that having a higher education would be important, like with a programming job, for example. A lot of companies follow everything that Google does, and Google at this point basically doesn't care about higher education and cares more about your portfolio and like actually demonstrating you can work. So people are getting these like tens of thousands of dollars of debt, and I wouldn't be surprised if everyone just ends up following Google down this path and like, yeah, you know what? We don't care about that. Like, obviously, there are some things where higher education is important, you know, like, I wouldn't want my doctor to not have been to university, but...
So, I done learned how to do this on the horse out in the back 40.
But, like, I've been to uni. I've met programmers that come out of uni. A lot of them are not very good. Just because you have that degree doesn't mean you actually know what you're doing.
What bad habits did you learn in college that you now have to unlearn?
Oh yeah, that's the other problem, because there are so many professors who either have never worked in industry or worked in industry so long ago that the way they do stuff is just really outdated.
Well, it's not just that. It's not even practical because they've never been in the industry itself. They're not keeping up with the standards. They're just doing the same thing that they've always done. The only ones that really make it are the people that go to school to learn to become a teacher or a professor.
Yeah, I've said this before. Like, my sister right now is in her first year of uni, and she's like, "Why the hell are we learning this stuff? I don't understand this." And every time she says that, I'm like, the reason why you're learning it is because they are teaching you to be a teacher. That is the only reason why. Like, a lot of the stuff will be useful, but when it's like, hey, how do I calculate this specific chemical property by hand? Like, you don't need to do that. There are machines to do that. Unless you're building the machines, it doesn't matter.
I mean, if you've got people that are teaching it that are actively in the field, which I know there's some schools, organizations that do, then that works. If not, then no.
In some cases, even then, it's... I know, I've actually had some pretty bad experiences in that case as well. Like, So I had this this lecturer for my big data class, and he works, what did he say? It was something like he does big data stuff in, like, the medical industry, bringing together basically, like, so I presume it's the same thing for you guys, but every single hospital has their own hospital records, and getting those records, like, you know, together between the hospitals, very difficult. So he basically works trying to make that a thing to actually... So you can just go to any hospital and they just have your records, like, on a computer. Plus, because
ours is very similar.
There's a lot of, like, paper records and stuff, especially for, like, older people. But, yeah, basically, that's what he was doing. But some of the ideas he had for, like... for how you can handle some of, like, the big data problems we had were just insane. Where he was under the assumption that it doesn't matter how long your script takes to run, because they're just going to pay you regardless. It's like, oh, it'll take a week to run, it's fine. It's like...
See, and that's the other thing, is a lot of these people, yeah, they don't understand. They haven't really looked at it deep down. If they understood how, like, the computer process things, or understood a lower level, like assembly, a little bit better, then maybe they'd think differently.
Like, I think it was some, like, Python problem we had or something, and the way he was approaching it, basically, it was an exponential time curve, his approach, and just, like, on anything above, like, 100 records, this thing would take forever to run. And it was like, yeah, that's fine.
No.
It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's not. It needs to be done right.
Well, the other problem with it is he wanted us to, like, jot down our results in, like, the write-up we did, and, like, his solution would have taken, like, 4 hours to run. Like, I don't want to wait 4 hours to do that. Just let me do my solution. And with that assignment, he actually... all of the big data students, they did his solution. It was the general tech people. All of the general tech people did his solution. All of the programmers did, like, my solution and, like, the good solution. And he failed all of the programmers in that class.
Well, you know who's going to get ahead at least.
But when he did that, we went and talked to his boss. Like, you know this guy's an idiot, right? Like, he's like, oh, yeah, you guys can pass the assignment now. I was like, oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's just a case where...
set in his ways.
Yeah, set in his ways, and it's more... Some people are more about kissing butt than doing the job right.
I think where you get benefits from industry people is when they're, like, young industry people. This guy had been working in the industry for, like, 40 years. So, he'd already sort of... Like, it would be like getting, like, a COBOL programmer to teach a C class, for example. Like,
I think in some cases you get these older people that do it right, and they teach you to do it right.
Yeah,
the difference is he was set in a way of, like, doing it however because he's paid to do it and he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. I've had some really, really good lecturers. It's just that there's been a lot more that haven't been good, for sure.
Schools aren't always the best at getting the best people.
For sure. Well, yeah, the best people are going to be doing something else. Like, this is why, like, the This is why you see like this big influx of like influencers on YouTube selling courses. Like, sure, they probably could do it themselves, but they're smart enough to realize the better way to make money is to sell you on how to go make some money.
It's an interesting thing, too. It's like, well, I can sell my course on how to do this thing rather than giving someone else a cut.
Yeah, if you... The guy who's going to get rich in the gold rush isn't the guy digging for the gold, it's the guy selling the shovels.
Yeah. Gets all the gold eventually. Do you need a new shiny shovel for your dull, dead shovel that's now dead from digging gold? There's a new pickaxe too.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say about that, but here's his one. Do you like TikTok?
I do not have a TikTok at all. I was asked that before. It's like, why? My goodness.
Everyone is becoming TikTok. YouTube is TikTok. Twitter is TikTok. Instagram is TikTok. Man, everyone needs to have a TikTok-like feature in their app right now.
I appreciate that they featured Beelzebub's mistress as one of the screenshots in here, because it really explains where this comes from pretty well.
I don't like. Okay, YouTube Shorts when they first dropped were really good. A lot of people were trying like really new stuff, and like you're getting a lot of like really cool stuff coming from that. Now I'm just seeing a lot of like TikTok re-uploads, and there's a lot of like music and dancing stuff now. It's like, can we just go back to when it was good, please? That just like couple of days when it was good.
All the TikTokers came in and said, well, I'm going to make ad money here and here.
You don't actually make ad money on YouTube Shorts right now.
Oh.
But hey, you can certainly sell stuff. You can make it an ad.
True. Oh. Was it? Someone got mad because I had uploaded a short of the cats doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the cats' name is Slanesh, so it makes sense.
There's a joke there that's going over my head.
Warhammer 40k.
Yep, that's why.
A lot of chaos, of debauchery, and their illicit things.
I have literally never played Warhammer. I do have some mates who play Warhammer, and like they're playing it in the club room at uni a couple of times, and I just watch them. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's like you got measuring tapes out and stuff, and like I don't know what's going on.
Some people get really, really detailed in their war games or RPGs to that point. Yeah, other people could care less. They just want to have a good time.
It's like, yes, you're allowed to move this exact number of millimeters. If you move any more than that, then you are cheating. Do not move.
Yeah, most RPGs use a grid-based system, and each one is about 5 feet or a meter, depending on whatever. But you get to move so many based on your speed stat and this, that, and the other. So,
yeah, I have played like a bit of D&D in the past, but that's as far like as I've actually gotten into that entire world. Or I guess I played D&D. I played a bit of there's a Star Wars pen and paper that I can't remember the name of.
I think I've come across it. I've seen some of the stuff for it. Some of the game stores I've been in.
And there was a cyberpunk themed one that I don't remember the name of either. I don't remember. Anyway, but I like the idea of a pen and paper. My only issue with them is they take a really long time to actually go through a good campaign. It takes a really, really long time.
It also depends on the system too. Most people use D&D. Some of the older D&D versions are slower. Then some of the newer ones might be a little bit quicker, but they're also shaved down a lot.
Yeah.
So
I
kind of lock you into a certain thing.
I mainly played 3.5 when I was playing.
Okay.
I have played a little bit of 5th edition, but not much to really have much of an opinion on. I do know that it's supposed to be easier, though.
There are some systems that are designed to get you up and going really quick. Like basic art roleplay is one of those. You basically have skills and your percentage basically goes up as you train those skills. So you're legitimately training skills rather than arbitrarily putting points into things, level up or get better. And you roll a percentile and you have to get under that percentage that's on your sheet in order to make the roll.
Okay.
Which is way different than what I've seen in most systems. Which require you to be over that.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about like different campaigns, but if I play D&D, I don't really like the super serious campaigns. Where it's like, yes, we're a serious group of adventurers. We're going to seriously slay the dragon. I like it when it's more like, hey, there's a fox girl over there. Can I like, I don't know, do something questionable?
I like to have leeway for shenanigans. If you're serious all the time, it doesn't make it any fun. But if you've got leeway for where you can like crack jokes and like do other shenanigans, it gets really interesting. And if you've got a GM that's willing to work with that, and you can run into some interesting things like throwing dwarves over barrels, adding your strength bonus to his dexterity bonus roll, and then succeeding in the roll because of it.
Like, there's so much fun stuff you can do with the system if you just allow it to just be a bit more free-flowing. Like, oh yeah, land a roll is easy, but like, you know, you can make that way more fun. Like I had there was one game I played where someone found a goblin. They hog-tied the goblin, then like used it as like a flail.
It's a cool improvised weapon.
Like that's the sort of fun stuff that I wanted a DM to let me do.
My cousins, I believe were play testing 5th edition before it was officially released, and so one of them had found a block of cheese. Basically, they started putting all these knives into it because it's like the GM's like, yeah, guess you can use it as an improvised weapon. Yes, an improvised throwing weapon. So they were like slowly making this block of cheese really buff with more and more blades in it. It's just like, it's an insane block of cheese.
I wonder what the roll looked like for that one.
I don't remember what they said it was, but it was ridiculous.
Oh, like, the problem I have with, like, the serious campaigns is if you, especially when you, like, first start out, if you sort of roll your character in a shitty way, you sort of handicap yourself the entire campaign. Whereas if whereas if it's more free-flowing, you can still, like, sort of bullshit your way out of situations.
Well, there was one campaign other group has been looking at doing for a while. It's just we haven't gotten around to doing it. And we were coming up with character concepts. And I'm like, well, my character is like this silver-tongued rogue that's just like really good in social situations, can like do like walk his way out of anything pretty smooth, except for romance. He feels like he can do romance really well, but he has a really, really hard time at reading romance situations and when someone's hitting on him or someone else. But he believes he's really good at it and he understands how it works.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Trouble that could be gotten into with that one.
I can only see how well that would go.
The GM was kind of excited to see it too, but we still haven't gotten around to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I haven't played D&D in so long, though. I think the last time I played it, maybe 6, 7 years ago?
A while.
Yeah, like, the group I was in sort of, like, fell apart. and like everyone sort of started going their own ways. We did come back for like a couple of like sessions here and there, but like nothing really holding together like it used to.
Yeah. The one group that I've been going to for the last, what, 2 or 3 years, I think. We went to doing it over Discord because of COVID crap, and then just got back to doing it in person because after a while of doing it on Discord, it's just really hard to hold some things together and keep everyone focused.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not like there in person.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we've kind of barely gotten it back together that way, but we've done a bunch of different games, so I've been able to try a few different systems, which is fun. I know someone talked about like, when is the Linux YouTuber D&D thing gonna be done? It's like, don't know. That would be kind of fun.
It would be. I don't know if anyone has any interest in doing it. Plus, someone would need to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, maybe it's probably too soy for Luke or something.
Would he? Mental outlaw, maybe.
No, I feel like mental outlaw. If anyone would do it, it would be Kenny.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, he comes across as the kind of person that also has Steam installed on his stuff with the way that he's talked about it.
And you could, assuming he's not insanely busy, Wendell surely would do it. But Wendell is a very, very busy man.
Yeah. And I mean, for Linux YouTubers, there are lots of sci-fi RPGs. So, I mean, what command do you use to get in here?
God. Just RM-RF your way through everything.
Yeah. Was it successful? No, their security's too good. RM-RF won't work.
--preserve-root.
Nope, still won't work. They thought about that already.
Okay, I'm gonna hit with a hammer then.
Strike is successful.
Man, look, hitting something with a hammer is the quickest way to get through most situations. Who needs to think your way through it?
So one of my thumbnails, I was going through and looking for Warhammer themed meme for it, and one of them. So in Warhammer 40k, you've got like the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're like this transhuman cyborg type religious people. Their religion is their technology, basically. So there was one where it's like, have you tried performing the rite of percussive maintenance? Which means, have you tried smacking it with a hammer?
Right. Okay. Right. You know...
Rite of percussive maintenance.
Rite of percussive maintenance. You know, I'm going to use that one from now on. I like that. Oh, God. The problem with playing Warhammer is Warhammer is very expensive to get into.
I think that mostly depends on whether you're getting into the figurines. I know the figurines the models add a lot into it, but at the same time, I don't think they're necessary because from what I've skimmed through the rule books that I have, I don't see anywhere where it says you need the models for it. They're mostly for so
you could use a placeholder if you wanted to.
You could use a placeholder, but there's still plenty of methods of using, no maps at all for combat as well.
Well, I guess there are, digital forms that could work as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like that has the exact same problem that doing D&D over Discord has. Where it's you lose a lot of the... what would be a good way to put it? A lot of the... Maybe sense of scale in this case probably would be a good way to put it.
Well, most of the games that I've played over Discord, we haven't really used a map at all. So, people have come up with methods of doing, combat without needing a map or anything. It's just, you've got to be more imaginative with it. And I know for some people that can be hard, for the NPCs in particular. it's doable, and it more focuses on the story than anything.
Right. No, I get that. Maybe it would be interesting. But I still... Okay, so what has been the problem with doing D&D over Discord? Because I can imagine it sort of probably has to do with, like, the liveliness of the environment, but, like, what issues have you actually, run across doing that?
Mostly getting distracted. So, like, you've got, like, your game over here, and so you might have your character sheet pulled up in a PDF or whatever, but then you've still got leeway to go and, like, play another game or something else.
So what you're saying is someone's playing
fully
D&D.
focused on what you're doing.
So someone is playing D&D with you guys and then hierarchying in RuneScape on the other screen.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough.
In the world of dual monitors, everything is possible.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I feel like the groups that I've been in have always been, like, very, like, rowdy groups and we're getting, like, really loud about stuff as well. I feel like that would also... You'd lose a lot of, like, that energy as well.
Yeah, that's another problem, too, is, like, our group sometimes has problems making decisions. Like, so we'll sit there for, like, a half an hour deliberating on the best decision. And when you're over voice chat on Discord...
Yeah.
Doesn't always work out the best in that situation.
Yeah, well, there's no reason Discord couldn't handle it properly, but Discord tends to, like, lower voices and stuff like that, so you end up... Or it'll just, like, muffle everything, which you don't really get as a problem, like, when, obviously, you're talking face-to-face.
Yeah. So it comes to the point where, like, basically someone has to make a decision. It's like, we're just gonna do this at this point.
No, that makes a lot of
forward.
sense. Yeah, it would be an interesting experience to try, and I'm sure, like, I know people have made it work. Like, there are really popular, like, D&D series on YouTube, but it would be a challenge, I would say.
I think most of it has to do with, like, the excitement of the story and the campaign and the amount of leeway you give them to goof off as well.
Yeah.
If they have room to, like, explore and do different things... Rather than sitting within the model, you can't exactly keep them in this one spot, like, super serious if you're doing it with less tools.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna show you a YouTube channel.
Okay.
This is possibly the most big-brained thing I've ever seen. I was talking about it on the Discord the other day, but this channel, you may have seen it if you search for anything on Stack Overflow. It looks like a regular YouTube channel.
This one.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to explain this channel for anyone who doesn't know what this is. This is a channel that looks like a completely normal channel, but you might notice, like, how many videos are being uploaded. So in the past hour, there has been 12, 15, 18, 21, 20... There's usually somewhere in the range of, like, 200 or 300 videos an hour. This is such a fucking big brain approach to YouTube. I love it. Every single video every video looks like a legit video. That's the thing. Like, that's the funniest thing about it. He'll have, like, an intro and, like, a little thing about himself. Then there is, like, the way he actually does it. So what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so he's got, like, a slightly different intro for all of them you can see in the preview.
He reuses a lot of them, though.
Yeah. At the same time, they're only, like, 2 minutes apiece. Yeah, they basically, like, botted Stack Overflow and got, like, the top 6 or whatever answers to each question.
Yep. So
if you didn't want to search Stack Overflow, you could search Stack Overflow on YouTube.
So most of the videos get, like, 2 or 3 views, but that's the thing. They don't need to get many views, because I'm gonna show you how many views this guy has. Sure, what's his name? I've already forgot it. Roll Vanderpar, which honestly I don't even think is a real name, but it might be. He does have a LinkedIn. That's actually the funny thing about it. Here's his LinkedIn linked on this as well, so I know what he's doing here. He has 1.3 million uploads. So, basically, with each video getting almost no views, it doesn't matter, because if one of them does well, or if a couple of them do well, of like, let's just say 1% do well of 1.3 million uploads, that does so well.
Yeah. He signed up on December of 2012. He only really started uploading 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, so no, it is a real name. It's just, Roll Vanderpass sounds like, it's such it's such like a super villain name. It doesn't even sound like a real name. But this guy is apparently a principal test engineer at MariaDB, director at Dream Computers Pty Limited, columnist at linuxconfig.org, and cloudsavvyit.com. And he's... I didn't notice this! He's an Aussie as well! He's from Wagga Wagga. He's from Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. So basically what I think this YouTube channel is sort of like, either he's pretending like he knows all of this stuff about tech, or he's using it as like a way to demonstrate something he's like created.
Maybe. But his second video is the best one, how to properly secure a baby playpen.
What? Was that when he was making actual videos?
I linked it in the DMs.
Yeah, I saw it. Oh, okay, this is before he actually was making whatever he's making. What the hell is this? I can't play the audio, but I'll check it out afterwards. What does he do? Is he gonna zip tie the playpen?
I mean, it works.
It does work, I guess. But man, this channel is like such a like big brain idea. Because we go to like his top uploads. He's got a couple of things in here that actually like have done quite well. Like he's got one about remove enterprise enrollment from Chrome OS 3 solutions. Ubuntu /dev/SDA1 clean 22024 what the hell? How does that have 16k views? How to open Apple iOS AAE file. And all of these videos have like such a bad like to dislike ratio. Doesn't matter though, because it's not a real channel.
Doesn't matter because all those interactions lead to pumping the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
It means that if he's using ad revenue, that he's still getting it.
Oh, he has ad revenue on this. Like every single video has an ad at the front. So I can tell you how much he's making. I can do a little bit of napkin maths and tell you exactly how much he's making. So my channel, this is with mid-rolls. I am sitting around 400 a month. So that includes mid-rolls, and he will still have end-roll ads. So if we cut out the mid-rolls, multiply his views by 4, I reckon he's probably somewhere in the range of 1,300 Australian a month, which puts him around about 1,000 US for doing no work. For setting up a script on a VPS and just letting it run.
It's really not that bad.
No, it is not.
It is passive income at its finest.
I know, someone's gonna be like, oh, you're just jealous. No, I'm not jealous. I wish I thought of this myself. That is such a good idea. Just game the fuck out of the YouTube algorithm.
And anybody that doesn't understand, those dislikes still matter in the algorithm. It's an interaction. Any interaction just like says, yeah, this is cool. I mean, yeah, it's depressing when like 2/3 of your dislikes are like thumbs down, but at the same time, I still get money.
Yup. Yeah, YouTube, like what YouTube cares about is interactions. As long as there is some interaction, YouTube doesn't care if it's positive or negative. In fact, in a lot of cases, a negative interaction is actually better. What negative interaction says is this video is controversial, and when a video is controversial, it's likely going to be pushed a lot. Take, for example, except in some cases, but like, take, for example, like, there's been really bad, like, Call of Duty trailers, for example, and those videos do insanely well. Way better than they would have done if they, like, were just a regular, it's just, here's another Call of Duty game. Wow. But if it's like, hey, this is the worst trailer you've ever seen, that's going to do really well.
Well, it's the rage bait thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And news companies use this too as rage bait to get interactions, get views, and they get money.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's like the best way that you can make a video just disappear is to not acknowledge its existence. That is the only thing you can do. Disliking, leaving a bad comment doesn't do that. Not at all. Only just pretending it's not a thing.
Mm-hmm. My favorite ones is when people say this thumbnail is so wrong, but it's like, you know, based on the emoji you added to that comment, I think it was the right one.
Mm-hmm. I love when people say, like, this thumbnail is clickbait because I didn't, like, I just exaggerated something a little. When it's like, oh yes, this, I don't know. When I say something like, oh, just do not follow this advice. This advice is horrible or something, or this is the greatest thing you'll ever see. Like, and it's just like, oh, this is just a great thing. Like, it's not like I'm sending you a complete wrong direction. This is exaggeration. This is just the state the internet is in right now at this point.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be something interesting, but it was just this. It's like, it did its job then.
No, that's my favorite. I thought this was going to be interesting. Like, I can't tell what you're going to like. That's fine. I'll make better videos, but at the end of the day, I don't know what you like personally.
Mm-hmm. I'll do what I like. You do what you like.
Oh no, I think the best in that respect is when the video does like better than any of my like recent ones, and it's like, this video is bad. Just like, right, but like, you're the only one who thinks that. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'll take your opinion, but like, nobody else is saying that.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I found though is like when something recent happens, always take advantage of it. That will in some way boost subscribers and in some cases boost views for the rest of everything else.
Yeah, I have certainly tried to hit on like SEO topics hard like that before, but the problem is a lot of the time I'll get to it like really early, but it's still late enough where it's not as important as hitting it like within that first hour, and I'm never going to get to topics like that quickly. I always I spend like a day planning stuff and actually get to it afterwards. Usually I like to let stories sort of like evolve before I get to it, and I feel like if you miss something by a day, missing it by 3 days is really no less valuable.
I mean, there's still a lot of people looking into it, but you're not going to have that like bloated up traffic. Yeah. But some of the bigger people are going to have it more so than.
Yeah, with like if like say like Linus Tech Tips hits something within like that first hour, like that's really big because they already get a lot of views. So it's sort of like it's multiplying their already massive view count by like a factor of like, I don't know, 2 or 3, let's say. But if a channel at my size does it, it's like a far less noticeable bump. It's not like my, 3,000 view video is going to become like 100,000 view video, unless it's like some absolutely insane topic and I hit it before anyone else does.
There are some things where I've hit it like a little bit after and I've still gotten crazy views. They're not quite my top videos, but still. My top performing videos right now are all on web browsers.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's like, how?
Yeah, I don't know where all these people that cared about web browsers came from.
Well, once, I think it was the Firefox thing. Then like Google Chrome and stuff. So it makes sense. But the fact that it's still like month after month, the top performing thing just still boggles my mind.
I just looked at my YouTube I just looked at my YouTube comments and someone okay, so I replied to a video or yeah, I replied to a comment on Luke's video called OBS's Major Soyware. Someone left a comment saying everything worked great in FFmpeg, starts getting frame drops instantly. So someone talked about like why that happens in with FFmpeg and he was like, I don't know why this happens with FFmpeg and not with OBS. Like, why does OBS handle cameras better? And I gave a response for like why, like how to actually fix it with FFmpeg, and this person for some reason doesn't like me telling them how to fix it and was just like, shut up. It's like, what? Like, are you I'm not trying to start a fight here. I'm literally just saying how to fix it.
But you want to start a fight? No, I was just giving you something to like help you, but okay, whatever.
Oh, people are dumb, man. Look, sometimes YouTube comments are like, sometimes YouTube comments are great, and then other times,
I just take it as the holy grail of comedy. That's all.
Let's see. Yeah, you're a skewer Linux YouTuber. You're not even on other Linux YouTubers' radar. And if you make content on a flavor of BSD, forget about it, you insignificant speck. I feel like that one's taking the piss. That has to be taking the piss.
Like, you're insignificant. It's like...
Well, if we're talking in the sense of, like, the Linux space, Linux space is still, like, really small.
I mean, it sounded like they were like, in the Linux space, you're insignificant. It's like, that doesn't sound like truth to me, but you can believe that.
Like, in the greater tech space, sure, absolutely, I'll give you that one. In the Linux space, I think, like, my channel's probably in, like, the top 1%, because there's, like, barely any channels above 10K.
I think we can base that on the meme of the betrayal of Caesar, whose faces are in it.
Well, to be fair, that was made by someone. Who made that? Who made that?
I don't remember.
It might have been Will.
Probably.
I don't know. But it was made in like my Discord, so there's got to be some weight put in on that. But
yeah, who was it? The main one. It was Luke was one of the main ones that they
I've
put
got it as
in.
my wallpaper right now, so
I know.
So we've got me, obviously. We've got Luke, Wendell, DT, Kenny's hiding out in the background, Lunduke, who is I don't know what Lunduke's doing right now. Lunduke's gone some like weird path.
He's on a weird tangent.
Hex DSL's in the background. We've got Hex. I do like Hex. He's a cool dude. Chris Titus. Honestly, like Mudahar is probably the only like actual big Linux related YouTuber.
He doesn't focus on Linux, but everybody knows the VM meme at this point from him.
Well, he's the only like big YouTuber I know that like even talks about like a big individual YouTuber. I know that like Linus Tech Tips does have like the occasional video with Anthony running it, but he's the only one who will actually like bring up Linux on like a regular basis.
So what you need is Linux to compile this Android ROM.
Oh god. But like I know a lot of people like meme about it, but I actually do appreciate like the fact that Linus Tech Tips does do a lot of coverage of Linux. I think that is very important.
I think it's increased more recently, though, especially with the way Valve has been going. So that's kind of a big deal, and especially since he used Linux for his like 16-in-1 gaming PC, which is insane, by the way.
Yeah, that's I don't even want to know how much heat that thing is putting off.
Too much.
Probably like way too much. But speaking of the Steam Deck, are you gonna buy one, or are you gonna wait until it's come out, or what's your plan?
The big one is I've got to wait until I have the money for it.
Right. So you're gonna buy
I would
it some.
very much like one.
So you'd buy it sometime after launch, then.
Probably. I mean, if I had the money to do it sooner, I'd pre-order it.
Yeah. Well, I have no interest in pre-ordering it. Like, my plan, I was never going to pre-order it anyway. I'm going to wait until, like, Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, Clicks Phillip, all of those people get their hands on one, and I can see, like, how it actually performs. Because while we can say, like, oh, it runs Hades and Doom Eternal and all of these other games that work amazingly under Proton really well, what about games that don't work so well? How does it handle those ones? Like, if I go and launch up some random-ass JRPG that, like, barely functions under Proton, is it going to be better? Do they actually have some patches to improve this? That's the sort of stuff I want to know.
I want my Halo to work properly on it, but it's one thing, too, that, like, still, at the same time holds me back from the idea of pre-ordering it, is actually having someone that can crack it open. Because if you can crack it open and put your own SSD inside of it, then I would definitely buy the cheaper one and just upgrade the SSD itself.
Yeah, I
with
don't
something bigger.
know what the plan is in that respect. Apparently you can upgrade the SSD, but whether the bottom tier one is going to have that slot is another question.
Well, it would make sense to have all the same hardware, but a different SSD or memory module. So,
yeah, it might have it, and if it does, then absolutely go the cheapest one. Because buying it,
because it looks like all the specs are the same for all of them. It's just the memory that's the difference.
Yeah, so it would be weird if they were using a different main board then.
It doesn't make sense to, like, just, yeah, we're going to make this one cheaper and we're going to design it slightly different when we could make all of them the same and mass produce them, which would be way cheaper.
Yeah. As long as they just don't do something stupid like solder it into it, then we'll be fine. And you should, even if it is soldered on, as long as they don't, like, get in the way of the, where the SSD would go, it should be fine, I would hope.
I mean, Valve seems to be moving more that direction to where you can replace certain parts, considering, like, back when they were still selling the Steam controller, they released the STLs for it. You could print your own parts for it, shell, at least.
So, what do you think of the, not just the Steam Deck by itself, but this idea of, like, handheld computing sort of becoming more of a thing now? Like, handheld gaming, like, in the computer space.
I like the idea of being able to take your games with you wherever you go. It being an end-all, be-all, I don't quite see happening. So, like, if you want the top performance, I still see, like, desktop or whatever is your best option. But, like, if you're just going out for, like, a little bit and you just want to have something to do real quick and you want it to be something better than what your phone can do, by all means, I'm all for it. The fact that this is customizable means that it can do more while you're out and about, too.
I know a lot of people have talked about doing things like emulation on it, and I feel like that is one of those things where I think it can really, really shine. Because we don't know exactly how well it will perform, but I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be able to handle at least PS2 games.
Yeah. In what? I think that might have slightly better specs than what I've got in my laptop currently. So I don't see why not, because I can run GameCube games just fine on it. So
you might struggle with, like, later generation, like towards the end of the PS2 generation, but playing, like, most of the games of, like, less demanding PS2 games, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, if Doom Eternal can run on it why can't PS2 games?
It is running at medium, and Doom Eternal runs really well, under Linux, but that's why I sort of want to wait until we have some more independent, actual benchmarks and stuff like that.
Got to get low spec gamer on that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I want it, like, if... Or actually, one thing in that regard is FSR. FSR is really going to help out with actually getting games running well. Because you can, like, even if games don't support it, you can force it in the AMD drivers.
Yeah.
Or you can force it through Proton.
I just wish these improvements would come out, like, and roll out through Steam quicker, so that people could actually mess with them and actually help improve them, rather than them holding it back. Because not only would that improve, like, the experience for the end user currently, but it would allow them to have that time so that they can improve it when the Steam Deck launches, and it's not going to be a super buggy mess when it does.
One thing I really hope is they don't do something dumb, and I don't see this being the path that Valve goes down, but I hope them to do something dumb and just make this new version of Proton not available through the regular Proton streams. Make it so it's like a Steam Deck only thing. I don't see Valve doing that. They've sort of said they want Linux to be like their backup for gaming, and I can't imagine they want to be in the hardware market forever.
No.
So I hope that's not what they do, but it is a possibility.
Well, with them using Linux as a backend, I don't see how they're going to keep it out of the end user's hands for their devices on their normal Linux boxes, because someone's inevitably going to pull it and
unless
then
there's some like
bring it over elsewhere.
Unless there's some like key validation or something like that. That's the only thing I could see that would stop that.
You can run Proton outside of Steam, so
yeah. I hope this rolls out to everyone, and that will be awesome, because I don't, like, even if I don't buy a Steam Deck, I want to be able to do things like run easy anti-cheat and stuff like that under Linux without any problem.
I don't have to reboot into Windows to grind Halo season points no more.
My Windows install looks hilarious right now, so I put all the programs that I run, like, on my, on, what is it called? The shortcut bar? Is that what's called? Whatever, start bar, whatever the hell it's called on Windows. And right now, there are 3 programs on it. There is my web browser, there is OSU, and there are my OSU tablet drivers. And that is all. That is the only thing I use Windows for right now. Just playing OSU stable. I know you can. I know you can play it under Wine, but that introduces some input delay, and I'd rather just not. I know you can reduce it, but the best experience with OSU is still under Windows. Like, it can be better under Linux, but unless you put a lot of work into it, getting to the point where it's playable is kind of difficult.
There are some games that worked before that just don't seem to anymore that I've had a problem with. Like Homeworld's Remastered Collection, you could skip the launcher. The script I have for that doesn't seem to work anymore. So it's like, that's sad. Still, the only game I reboot for is Halo to get season points and unlocks.
I do have the what is it, Master Chief Collection? That's what it's called. I've been meaning to play it. I don't really care about doing like multiplayer, so I know the single player works almost perfectly under Linux. And I do want to play it because I've only actually played like the first Halo game.
My laptop was like just burning its fan one point when I was streaming, and so I switched to Master Chief Collection, and in the middle of level it just dies midstream off. I'm like, crap. I'll let it rest. Sorry guys, it said no more.
That's better than what I had with like one of my Ender Lily streams where for some reason that game was just a little... It's supposed to have like a platinum rating under Proton, and it just had a little bit of a problem where every time I fast traveled, my GPU drivers shut down. Just died completely.
It's not good.
It's not good. I thought maybe it was like a one-time thing, so I did a reboot, happened again. I haven't gone back to like play it again, but I need to just see what's gonna actually happen.
One might have come up with that issue on otherwise somewhere in ProtonDB.
I hope so. I had to actually run Proton GE for that one because otherwise the cutscenes wouldn't run.
Yeah. There's still some games, even with like any version of Proton that I try, it doesn't seem to work anymore. So like Fallout New Vegas, I can't get it to run at all. Since I've also got it on GOG, I was able to install it through Lutris, and it seems to run okay in that.
The only Proton bug that I don't want to be fixed is the bug I had when I was playing
Spyro.
Spyro, yeah, where everything is just all the cutscenes just playing a random language. Just doesn't matter what.
Which one's this one? Polish.
Sometimes it's Polish, sometimes it's Portuguese, sometimes it's Japanese. I think my entire playthrough of the first game, I had English once. Granted, there's only like 3 cutscenes in the first Spyro.
Yeah. Can't remember if I was there to watch that one. It was English that one time. I might have been.
Yeah, it was the final cutscene just after you beat Nasty Nook. So maybe you saw it? I don't know.
Maybe. I'm kind of up and down sometimes after I'm done streaming because I've got like other stuff that I need to do.
No, that's fair enough. No, I totally get that. Like, don't just sit there watching live streams all day. I know some people who do that. It's like, how do you get anything else in your life done?
Yeah. I mean, particularly when you have to worry about like stuff outside because it's not snowy outside. Usually the wintertime is a lot more laid back, and I appreciate that.
Imagine snow. What is snow? I've never seen that.
Haven't. It's this white, cold, fluffy stuff.
Ah, sick.
And it really helped Finland beat the Ruskies.
It actually does snow in a couple of places here. Mainly on like the mountaintops. We do have a couple of ski resorts in Australia. It's just not many.
Okay.
Thinking like Sydney and Melbourne and Tasmania, I know it does snow.
I think for the most part, when people come to Utah, they come during the winter, and it's to go skiing and then leave.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least that's the winter tourism. There are like other things to do during the summer, but when it comes to the winter, it's like we're just going for the good powder.
Going for that, yeah, man. You got to go for the good powder. Very important.
I mean, we've even got like the Silicon Slopes, which is basically like Silicon Valley in essence moving to Utah, and it's where all the tech companies are located in the state.
Because Silicon Valley is stupidly expensive.
Yeah. And California taxes are ridiculous.
Yeah. We actually do have sort of the same problem here as well, where most of the tech companies for like the longest time have been in Melbourne and Sydney, but Sydney property prices have just like gone absolutely through the roof, where it's getting close to like Silicon Valley stuff, where you pay $1 million for a 1-bedroom apartment, stuff like that. But now you're starting to see a lot of these companies move out to places like Adelaide, which is making Adelaide prices also go up. Luckily, suburbs aren't being hit yet, but like inner city Adelaide is just a mess of prices.
Sucks.
It does, but at least in the meantime, there's like a lot of the good thing about the companies moving out to Adelaide is there's a lot of work and not many workers because everyone goes like Melbourne and Sydney. So if you want to find a tech job here, it's really easy.
I think more people this way have gone to remote work for quite a number of things, but there's still some things that require you to like be on location at least a little bit. Because I know, what is it? One of the larger fitness companies, Icon, is based in Logan, They've got some of their UX designers that apparently travel to different places where they have clientele to like get an idea for what the customer is looking for. So, but even their work schedule really isn't much of a schedule.
Yeah, remote work is going to really change the way a lot of companies sort of go forward. I know a lot of them were really hesitant early on, and now they're hesitant again, trying to get people to come back into the office. But I don't think you can really... I don't think you can reverse what's been done over the past 2 years. Everyone's realized, like, how great remote work is. And I don't know if you can really... You can really change that back. Like, a lot of people, I think that there's like surveys done about like the most important things that people are looking for like from a job. Obviously, like the salary is the top one. That one hasn't changed. But being able to do remote work is really quickly rising on that list.
Yeah, it makes sense. And a lot of people aren't going back to their fast food jobs either. So sucks to be them.
I did see I think it was a Taco Bell, where they had a sign up said, "Sorry, we're closed today. Everybody quit." And apparently this isn't the first time this has happened.
I'd ask, how am I supposed to get my Baja Blast? But then again, Baja Blast is in bottles and cans currently on the store shelves.
I have literally no idea what that is.
It's a Mountain Dew flavor.
Right, okay. Yeah, we have one Mountain Dew flavor here. We have Energized. That is all.
Yeah. In Utah, it's really popular, known as the Mormon coffee.
Why is it the Mormon coffee?
Because we don't drink coffee.
Sure.
And that's a source of caffeine.
Right, okay, that makes sense. You know, yeah, okay, sure, why not? Oh, Lord. We are closing in on 2 hours very shortly. I'm tired for some reason. I just woke up like 3 hours ago, something like that. I'm already...
I know, you just popped on Discord like
tired.
a while ago.
I've got some videos I still want to record today as well. I think I just didn't sleep very well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because my housemate has an alarm that she has go off at 7 in the morning, and it goes off every day. And she doesn't even realize she has an alarm. Like, I've told her about it. He's like, oh, what do you mean there's an alarm there? Like...
Check your phone or alarm clock. Turn it off.
Yeah, I think we'll end it off around there. I did have some other stuff to talk about, but I think I'll just talk about some other time, or I'll talk about it maybe on the live stream or something. Yeah, so do you have a channel that you want people to go check out? Like, who would you recommend that deserves some attention?
There are a couple people that are really good. One I know I've recently found is like Shadiversity. He does a bunch of stuff on medieval weaponry and like culture and stuff. He's an Aussie too, so...
Oh, yeah, okay.
He does weapon type stuff. His most recent one was about like reasonable amount of gold to carry as an adventurer. Because he was playing Skyrim recently and he's like, I've got all this gold. Like, how heavy would that really be?
Yeah, this is like a really cool channel, actually. Yeah, I think I vaguely recall hearing about this at one point, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
He has like 3 different videos on like nunchucks and why they're stupid. And multiple times he makes jokes about them being inept sticks.
Sure, okay. This isn't my recommendation, but Luke just uploaded a new video 9 hours ago. I don't know what it's about. It's got a picture of Bitcoin on it.
It's the crypto-y one.
The most monumental software oversight in history. Conspiracy lol.
Yeah, it's a blockchain bug.
Right.
Q.
He's not talking about 51% attacks, is he?
Oh, he's not.
Okay,
he's
good.
talking about like this one line of code in Bitcoin that limits the size of the blocks in the blockchain.
Right.
Oh, that's really stupid.
Uh-huh. I'll watch the video and we'll see. This is the guy who made a video about what Bitcoin is in 2021. So we'll see what he has to say about this. Do I have my own suggestion? I don't think I have one today, actually. Yeah, I can't think of a channel. I guess just go watch CoffeeZilla. There you go. There's my suggestion. So where can people find you?
I'm on YouTube, PeerTube, Pleroma, Twitch, Trovo, a whole bunch of places. It's pretty easy to find me. I've got the same screen name everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will leave all that stuff linked in the description down below if anyone wants to go check that out. Yeah.
Got a website. So yeah. Anyway, it's all there.
Also, he's in my Discord a lot. So if you want to, like, I don't know, pop into my Discord, go do that.
I'm only there when I have free time, which sometimes is a lot.
That's that's a good way to put it. I might have to use that one as well. Anyway, as for me, you can find me on YouTube at Brodie Robertson. I've got my gaming channel, Brodie Robertson Plays. This podcast is available as a audio release, basically anywhere you can find audio podcasts, and a video release on YouTube and Odyssey. Also, my main channel is available on Odyssey as well. Yeah, we're ending like 3 minutes early, so I'll give you one last extra topic, just a fun short one.
Okay.
Okay, so here you go. So this is a guy who lives like 10 minutes away from me. And he's just been in his underwear putting on a rock concert in his driveway.
It's not public indecency. It is his own property. And if he's not violating noise ordinance, which usually limits it at a certain time, he is free to do so.
Someone did apparently report him for, like, making too much noise, but, like, it's the middle of the day when he does this. So I don't know how you could possibly make that argument.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool and creative.
Apparently, the problem that someone has... Oh, he's been booked for indecent language.
You Aussies, really?
This guy's actually really good, though. Like, a really good guitar player. I'll see if I can find a picture of him when he went to court. Because he actually did put clothes on for court. Because his lawyer suggested it was a good idea. He was going to show up to court without clothes on.
His lawyer's pretty smart, not gonna lie.
Let's see if we can just look up North Adelaide underwear rocker.
Was arrested by police on June 13th for allegedly failing to comply with an environmental protection order given to him the previous day, which directed him not to perform for 72 hours.
Here it is. Here's how he showed up to court.
Glorious.
His answer, they interviewed him for like some local news channel, and the reason he had for the police showing up is they probably had their speed gun out, and he was strumming too quickly and caught him going over the speed limit.
I mean, if he's staying on his property and like not messing with people, Why? Well, he's using too much electricity. No way.
Honestly,
Doing
I'm
something
surprised
good
that
for his neighbors.
I'm surprised they didn't try to book him for like holding a concert without a permit.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah, no. It's yeah. Yeah. He's apparently already been arrested for going to the supermarket in his underwear though. For a previous offense. So I'm guessing they just already knew about this guy.
Shirt, no shoes, no service. Yeah, makes sense to me.
Anyway, I think that's where we'll end it. This guy's got some pretty nice style, and he plays guitar well. Also, he's got some. He's pretty ripped for someone in his age, so good on him.
Looks pretty good for himself.
Yeah, that should be pretty much everything then. Do you have anything else to say?
Nothing other than subscribe.
Cool, yeah, we can end it on that. Just subscribe to me, subscribe to him. If this crazy rocker dude has a YouTube channel, I guess subscribe to him as well. But I don't think he does. I don't think he knows what a computer is. Yeah, that should be everything then. So, I'm out.